Good afternoon, everyone. We'll now call the April 25th, 2024 BEST Renaming Committee meeting to order. Mr. Gaither, will you please call the roll?
Board Chair Erica Mitchell and Chair of this committee.
Oh, present.
Councilmember Dustin Hillis. Dr. Timothy Jones. Mr. Andrew Anderson. Mr. John Hope Bryant. Ms. Jewel Grubbs. Mr. Kenneth Hill. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Now we entertain a motion to approve the agenda of the April 25th, 2024 BEST Renaming Committee meeting. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Moved by John Hope, second by Kenny Hill. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the November 13th, 2023 meeting minutes?
Second.
Motion by John Hope Bryant, second by Kenny Hill. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will now move to our discussion item. Please note that all documents are located within our assembly platform, which can be found online. First agenda item, we will review the survey data from BEST Academy. Since our last meeting, Dr. Timothy Jones, principal of BEST Academy, and a committee member conducted a survey with students and staff. At this moment, I would like for him to go over the survey data received from the school's community.
Absolutely. We conducted the survey with our staff in a faculty meeting, so we could, we good? Let's see. I believe so. I'll get a little closer there. So we conducted in a faculty meeting, so we could have the majority of our staff members there so that they can chime in. We have about 52 staff members. We got 49 responses. I did abstain because I was on the committee. And what we found was approximately 85.7% of the staff agreed that they had, without question, a deep desire for the name to change and represent, of course, Thomas W. Dortch Jr., but not in the capacity of the school being named, which was the second option. Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Leadership Academy, but certainly overwhelmingly the BEST Academy at Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Was over 85%. We did have about 6.1% of the faculty that did not agree with that 85%, and then there were some that wrote in because we did give them an option to write in some other names, but overwhelmingly the staff had a feeling that they understood his care. I did express our relationship and that he had mentored me and that he was a part of the formation of who we are and was very active at BEST Academy in his care, support, and love. And so that was, of course, compelling for our staff. And then when we did the students, we did it at something called Fresh Start. And so initially, we were trying to get them to write it in, but we ended up going with like a QR code on the screen with all of the students in one place. And so we had only about 90 of the 240 students to participate actively. And the results for that, and I don't have my glasses, I believe that's about 48, 49%. That said BEST Academy at Thomas W. Dortch Jr. We had about 37.8% that wanted to do the Thomas W. Dortch Leadership Academy. And then we had a lot of write-ins. One was like LeBron Academy or LeBron James Institution, those kind of things. So those were not options that we gave them. So that was the survey results.
Thank you for that. And would you mind just telling the public what does BEST stand for, so they have an understanding of BEST?
Yeah. So BEST is a unique identifier for us. So BEST, engineering, science, and technology. And so our pathways are engineering, science, and technology. We have a computer science pathway, we have an engineering pathway, and we have a technology pathway. And so it aligns with who we are, what we're becoming. We're the only 612 all-male STEM certified school in the nation. And so we built our reputation on those pathways.
Thank you for that. So I want to take the time to discuss any potential names. In November 2023, we prepared a recommendation to present to the board for the December 2023 meeting. The school community requested that this body to hold the recommendation until the survey results were shared, which they were today. At this time, I would like to open up discussion to revisit and confirm a recommendation to share with the board at our May 2024 meeting. Are there any questions or discussions regarding the names and the survey results? The floor is open.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
we discussed in the last meeting, or at least I raised a question as to whether there were any grants or funding sources tied specifically to the name Best Academy.
Yeah, quite a few. So some of our largest are the VILS grant, which allows for every student in our school to have a laptop computer with internet access that they take home every day. It's also loaded with about 46 applications that they've learned how to use. And teachers also have digital devices, and they're loaded with those same applications so that they can use them. That's the largest one. We have Sienna grants. We have Truist grants. We probably have about 16 grants within the last 2 years that are tied to those initiatives.
Thank you.
Oh, and we just got one just recently. The board probably has heard about this. We have a VILS lab that's coming by Verizon. It's $180,000 to really accentuate and innovate some of the spaces in the school to make them more STEM accessible.
So today our goal is to get the official recommendation to share with the board. So what we have are the two names that we're mentioning in the survey. We have Thomas W. Dortch Junior Leadership Academy, and then this other name is the Best Academy at Thomas W. Dortch Jr. So I believe those are the two names that we are working with right now. And so for me, I just kind of want to see if there's any consensus around both names and which one will we move forward to today. Well,
Yeah,
I'll go.
I don't mind starting. So, of course, representing the school, representing the staff and the students in their choices. Again, I cannot say enough about the need for Mr. Dortch's name to be on that building. That is an honor and a privilege. I don't want to do it to the extent that we lose our identity as a school, because it's been 10 years in the making, and we have really gotten to a place where our reputation is starting to take off. So, like reinventing yourself when you change your name.
No, point well taken. And just looking at how the community around that school knows that school as Best Academy. For me, the added value and the addition to the name, Thomas W. Dortch Jr., again, exemplify the man, the passion, the hard work, the dedication he had throughout the years, and the impact that he's made on all of our young children, not just in Atlanta, but just nationwide. And it'll be a staple and a showplace for people to see because of the extraordinary work that you have done as principal there and continue to do. So I'm gonna pause right there.
So I definitely think this is a worthwhile endeavor, and former Chairman Dortch definitely deserving. Is the name, the Thomas Best Academy, the Best Academy at Thomas W. George Jr., seems like it leaves something else, like you're expecting something else to follow.
Yeah. So the name of the school used to be Best Academy at Benjamin S. Carson.
Okay.
And so I think that was just the general, because we were identified as that for about 7 years before we weren't. And so we were just using that as our moniker. But any derivation
Right.
of that is fine with me.
So could we consider the school being named the Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Best Academy?
I think that, again, that the Best Academy is always going to be the brand that supersedes people's idea of who it is and what we've become. So my preference is to have Best Academy first.
Okay.
And then also the leadership piece. So the leadership piece does not necessarily identify with what we do, although leadership is a part of who we are.
Right.
The fact that we specialize in engineering, science, and technology, that is pervasively who we are.
No, it's okay. I can wait. So I think I've found a compromise, I think. Look, there's a 7-figure paycheck every year tied to the Best Academy brand. And everybody's being nice about it, but no one wants that to go away. It actually would be stupid and Tommy Dortch wouldn't want the school to lose, how many grants? 16 grants in a black school, or a school serving underserved people, I'm sorry. So I think that's the green has to be, I think, underscored and respected. So no one wants to mess with the Best Academy. Thought would be the Best Academy at the Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Institute, or the Best Academy at the Thomas W. Dortch School.
Yeah, I think something on the end closes it. Yeah. So whether it's institute, whether it's school, I think it needs that to bring a close.
I'm fine with that. Either one.
Ms. Dortch? Which one? Which one?
Which he? Yeah.
You asking me what I just say? I'll say them both slowly. The Best Academy at either Thomas or the Thomas W. Dortch Institute, or the Best Academy at the Thomas W. Dortch School. What would you say? No, the.
End with institute.
And then with institute? Is that your preference?
So if we changed it based on what the survey has said, they like what it is as it is. So if we change the name, dropping the and adding institute, will we have to take it back to the school to have another survey on that particular name? Or can we just move forward without going back?
We feel very comfortable that as long as Best Academy is pervasive, they want the second part of that name. So that wouldn't be a problem.
So it appears, so there's a perception that they might be able also to raise more money if it was called an institute. So the win-win would be, in my opinion, the Best Academy at the or not, the or Thomas W. Dortch Institute, Jr. Institute.
Without.
We can argue.
Your
it-
preference.
You can argue for another 4 weeks on the if you like.
Let me ask a question. Do we have any schools in our district that has institute in part of the name?
It's Georgia Tech.
You're right. Not in APS, so this will be, yeah, okay.
Is there anything that precludes the school having that designation of institute? Okay.
Institute, because it's a single gender school, one. So what I'm thinking when I think about institute is it has a unique purpose. And this is different from any other school we have in APS because this is the only single gender school and
Boys.
for boys, and it's focused on business, engineering, technology. Hold on, STEM and then
Science.
science and then technology.
And we also have a AFVT program as well, audiovisual.
Audiovisual.
Technology and
So
film.
you could, yeah, okay.
Is there any negative connotation at all with institute in your mind?
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
not that I can think of.
So Webster says that an institution is a society or organization founded for educational, social, or similar purposes. Yeah, well, there you go.
And with regard to there not being another institute in APS other than Georgia Tech, I mean, Tommy was one of a kind.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, do we have a consensus on this name?
Well, just for clarity, because we would submit it as is, and so I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Right now, we have the Best Academy at Thomas W. Dorch Jr. Institute. Is that what?
I don't know why I'm stuck on the word "the." I think it provides a bit more distinction. It's already long as heck anyway, so you're not really extending it. I'm going to defer to everybody else, but I'm a marketing guy, and I just think that, I want to thank my fellow board member for acknowledging the fact that there was no end there, and it felt unnatural. But from a marketing purpose, the Best Academy at the Thomas W. Dorch Jr. Institute. You could almost see a little, as you put up the brand, you can see the Best Academy, and then like a separator, and then it's the Thomas W. Dorch Institute.
Yes.
It's one, but it's two statements.
Correct.
And you can raise money, by the way, both ways.
Yep, that's what I was.
I like that, yeah.
Also, it sets the stage for, if there's another opportunity like this, now you have at the institute, so someone's name and the institute, it could follow in line.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I was just asking for clarity. So, are we saying add the or
We're
to?
adding we're taking the best. We're
Can you live
saying
with the?
Best Academy at the.
So I think we heard it. We heard it two different ways, Madam Chair, and that's why I just wanted for clarity purposes. So, Mr. John Hope Bryant gave the Best Academy at the Thomas W. Dorch Jr. Institute. It sounds like we're saying that it's Best Academy at the Thomas W. Dorch Jr. Institute.
No two does.
Right. So that's why I just want to make sure we repeat it. So are we? And I guess that's the question that you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking one from
the-
the
Take
front
the first
and added
"the"
it
off.
right behind Best Academy.
Yeah, well, frankly, Best Academy can live without the, but I don't know if the Thomas Dorch Institute lives.
Yes.
I agree.
Yep. I agree.
And quite honestly, we enjoy being the best, but that's okay.
Look, we're gonna add the as we do like when we talk about our colleges and our schools, the Frederick Douglass Academy. I mean, So there's a way to always put that in there.
So I just did some research, following up on their lead. I to distinguish. Typically, an institute focuses on higher education and specialized professional training. It often refers to an educational blah, 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 but generally, often caters to tertiary education beyond high school, focusing on academic and professional graduate education, whereas schools provide more general education. And it just seems like the Best Academy
It's
is specialized,
specialized,
and
yep.
this is a very elegant bridge.
Yep. So with that being said, y'all ready? This is the moment I've been waiting for. I will now entertain the motion for the approval to recommend Best Academy at the Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Institute to the Atlanta Board of Education.
And I second.
Motion by John O'Brien, second by Kenny Hill. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next steps. Well, we'll get to that via email. But at this moment, we'll take public comment. Now I will let's proceed with public comment. Mr. Gaither, do you have any stakeholders signed up for public comment?
So, Madam Chair, none signed up virtually. I do just want to offer the opportunity for those who are sitting in the room. There is a mic located over here with the podium, just so that the public can hear if there are any comments that you guys would like to share.
Good evening, Madam Chair, other members of the APS School Board. My name is Stan Savage, a personal friend of the Dortch family. Tommy, like many individuals in our midst, was, definitely one of my mentors, one of my confidants, and vice versa. This is, when Carol, when I learned about this last year, when Carol called me, this has a very, very personal situation for me. I spent 31 years with the Atlanta Police Department, and fortunately, unfortunately, I experienced some really life perilling things right there in that area. And I can recall having a situation with Red Dog, and we had some guys shooting at us, and I remember being in the chase and had a wreck, and I think one of the guys ran over my leg or something. But when we caught the guys, and young black males, right there at the property where Best Academy at the Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Institute will live, and I just sit there, and first of all, I'm glad I was alive, but I pray, I said, man, what? I know I'm here to serve and protect and administer the law here in the city of Atlanta, but what is coming of our people? And so now, fast forward, here amidst the great leadership that you guys represent, to see this come to fruition, it is truly a blessing. Thank you so much for your leadership. Carol, thank you, and Trey, thank you guys for continuing the legacy of my great friend, and I really appreciate all of the endeavors in this matter. Thanks so much.
All right, well, good evening to everyone. Thank you all for being here. I've been over here laughing with my wife for the longest, because if you knew my father, he's known for his lengthy monikers when it comes to some of his businesses and organizations. But I just love it, period. If you knew my father, He was a very selfless man. So at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing for him is that Best needs to continue to excel, continue to have the right partners, the right people be a part. This is just added value and an incentive to his family. He left a great legacy. He's leaving wealth for his family in several different ways, and it's not just monetarily. It's just keeping the name alive of the Dorches and creating opportunities for our whole family. So we're appreciative, even if it wasn't to pass, even that it was even brought to the table. We're appreciative, and I'm enjoying every moment. So we're doing the work. We have the Thomas Dorch Jr. Foundation. We're doing the work, getting into public schools. John, Operation Hope have been very big supporters, and I mean, everybody has. And that just speaks to the work that he did and the legacy he left. So thank you again. That's all I can say at the end of the day is thank you. And we're here for it all, you know. Thank you. And I'm speaking on Mrs. Dorch's behalf. She doesn't like to speak, but she's the one behind the scenes making the moves. And I know she's appreciative too. He left a great legacy, like I said. He left a lot of work for her. But I think deep down she enjoys every moment too, because he knows everything that he did was in a good place, with a good mindset, good heart. And it wasn't just for us either. It was for the community. It was for our youth, for the betterment of our communities. So again, thank you.
So Trey, I commend you for your work in the schools and your partnership even with the South Metro chapter of the 100 Black Men and getting into those high schools where those young people need it. Thank you for that.
First of all, behind every successful man is an exhausted woman. And I want to commend Mrs. Dorch, who is a bad sister. I was going to find out one other way to say it, but there's just no other way to articulate it other than that. You are an extraordinary person. Woman, man, doesn't matter. You are just extraordinary, and when you've got the power, you don't need to use it. You don't talk a lot, but you're always thinking. And I pity anybody who runs up on you short of good common sense. And you're protecting your husband's legacy. It reminds me actually of what Coretta Scott King did for Dr. King. It is entirely likely had Coretta Scott King just simply moved on with her life after Dr. King's assassination, we would just know Dr. King is a really talented preacher who gave some important speeches in the South, and he'd have regional reputation, but he wouldn't be the global figure that he is today. That's because she nurtured that legacy, created the King Center out of her basement, and really gave up the rest of her life to fulfill that, even getting the national holiday named years later. I think it might have been 20 years later. It was more than 20 years later through the president. Your work, quiet as it is, effective as it is, to keep the businesses going, the foundation going, all the work going, to keep your family going, is extraordinary. And as improbable as it seems like Mr. Dorch is gone, I really think he's going to walk through that door at any time. It just makes no sense to me he's not here. He's had such a big presence. But he is alive and well. And TD3, he'd be, now, I'm not going to say he would be proud of you. He is proud of you. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So you can't talk to each other in physical words, but he is definitely smiling. You have done it right. And I've noticed how you've run the foundation, how you've comported yourself, how you've only operated with dignity. You've owned your problems, owned your mistakes, and held yourself up to a very high Tommy Dorch-like standard. A lot of people are embarrassed by their children, frankly. People are very accomplished, embarrassed by their children. Anybody would be proud to have you as a child, as a son. And I'm proud to know you, and I'm not even related to you. But every time you call, I answer or try to call you back immediately, because I know it's always important. Thank you for being a good father, a good son, and a good man.
Um, So what I wanted to say, I'm glad we're here. Since I became a board member, I've called Mr. Dortch several times and leaned on him for advice. And learned so much about the work he's done with our schools. Even before you was born, Trey, he was working in our schools. And when I thought about the impact, and I think about the impact, very often, in the principal meetings we would have for District 5 and the work around making sure all our students had the opportunities. I didn't ever want that to be forgotten. And I remember speaking to you, Mrs. Dortch, and telling you what I wanted to do to honor Mr. Dortch because the impact he had on our students. I thought this was fitting, and thank you for your patience. We discussed this February, and here we are in May, and we were able to get a name approved out the committee for a board vote in May. I want to thank everybody on this committee, everyone, for taking the time to be here and to be a part of this renaming. So with that being said, we will have further updates in regards on what the next steps will be with facilities, renaming, the ceremony, and all those things will come. But the most important thing was to make sure that we had a name approved, because I didn't want to go another school year trying to get this done with our operations, our facilities. So again, thank you for being here, and thank you all for taking the time. And now I guess I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
And I'm sorry, Madam Chair, before you do that. No, you're in the right place, but I do just want to say, because the board will be entertaining this, the full board will entertain the recommendation on May 6th. Just want to invite you guys out to the meeting, or just to make sure that you're on the lookout for when the official vote is actually taken on that day. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that.
And that'll be May 6th
May
at
6th at
6 p.m.?
6 p.m.
Yes.
is when the board meeting starts. And that's when the name will be official at the board meeting after the board vote.
So with that said, motion to adjourn?
Yep, motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.